Welcome back to The Deep Dive. Today we're getting into a really fascinating path, one that suggests something quite bold, that the deepest spiritual realization can come through something incredibly natural to us, intense love. We're diving into Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion, mainly drawing from Swami Vivekananda's explanations. Our goal here is to sort of unpack the core of this path pretty quickly. If, intense self-discipline or super complex philosophy isn't really your thing, Bhakti Yoga argues that love itself is the simplest, most direct way to connect with the divine.
Exactly. And what's striking is how fundamental Bhakti Yoga is presented right from the start. It's described as, well, a real, genuine search after the Lord. It starts with love, continues with love, and ends with love. And Narada, who's a major figure here, he even says Bhakti is greater than Karma Yoga, the path of action, and even Raja Yoga, the path of mental control.
Greater, that's a big claim. Why greater?
Because Bhakti is considered its own result, its own method, and its own goal. You're not doing devotion to get something else. The intense love is the freedom.
Okay, that clicks. It's self-contained. Right, but Vivekananda does make it clear these paths aren't totally separate. Yeah, they kind of meet up in the end.
Oh, absolutely. He uses this great image. Think of a bird flying and these two wings, right? Jnana, that's knowledge, and Bhakti, that's love. But it also needs a tail for balance and steering. And that's yoga, the practical meditative side. You need all three, really. But for many, devotion, Bhakti, is just the fastest way.
Got it. Okay, so let's talk about the object of this love. If you're pouring everything into this ideal, who or what are we focusing on? The sources call it Ishwara, the personal God. What exactly is Ishwara in this context?
Ishwara is defined as the ultimate source, the one from whom is the birth, continuation, and dissolution of the universe. He's described as eternal, pure, ever-free, almighty. But the absolute key for the bhakta, the devotee, is that Ishwara is, by his very nature, inexpressible love.
Okay, now this is where it gets a little bit philosophical, but it's important. How does Ishwara, this personal God, relate to Brahman, the ultimate absolute reality, Satchitananda, existence, knowledge, bliss? Are they different?
Good question. The texts use a helpful analogy. Think of clay. Brahman is the raw substance, the formless clay itself. Ishwara, the personal God, is the highest, most perfect form you can make from that clay. A beautifully crafted pot. He's the highest possible reading of the absolute by the human mind.
Yeah.
So they're not truly separate. Ishwara is the most accessible, the most loving face of that absolute reality that we as humans can connect with and adore.
Right, so you focus your love on this personal aspect, Ishwara, but through that, you eventually grasp the absolute Brahman.
Precisely. That focused love becomes the doorway. And there's another interesting point that underlines Ishwara's supremacy. Even souls who achieve liberation, moksha, gain immense power and knowledge.
Huh?
They still don't get the ultimate power.
You mean Vyas's point, that no liberated soul can actually, run the universe or dissolve it.
Exactly that. That specific power ruling and dissolving creation belongs only to Ishwara. It keeps the personal God distinct and supreme, which is kind of essential for that loving relationship the bhakta seeks. Now, we said this path can be the easiest, but there's a really big warning attached, a major pitfall. The sources warn that in its early stages, what's called Gauni Bhakti, this intense devotion can sometimes, can degenerate into hideous fanaticism. Hang on, how can the path of love lead to fanaticism and hatred? That seems like the total opposite. It's a paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
It happens because of something called nishta, singleness of attachment. In the beginning stages, a devotee focuses so intensely on their chosen ideal, maybe their specific form of God, their rituals, their teacher, that they can lose perspective completely. That intense focus makes them reject, even hate, any other ideal, any other path, anyone outside their group. They become fanatical.
Wow. So it's like a spiritual possessiveness. My way is the only way.
Pretty much. They guard their ideal fiercely, and in doing so, they can lose the very love and compassion they started with. The goal, then, is to mature beyond that stage into what's called parabhakti, or supreme bhakti.
And in parabhakti?
In parabhakti, the soul is just too close to the God of love. There's simply no room left for hatred. It's become impossible.
Okay, so to reach that supreme level, to avoid the fanaticism trap, you need solid methods right from the start. It sounds like it requires discipline, even if the goal is love.
Oh, definitely. Discipline is key. The methods emphasize purity, perseverance, and control. First up is Viveka discrimination. Ramanuja interprets this very practically. It means being careful about your food, avoiding food that's impure by its nature, how it was obtained, or if it has defects.
Right, standard yogic idea, keep the body pure. But Shankara takes it deeper, doesn't he?
He really does. Shankara's view is much more subtle. He looks at the word hara, usually food, and says it means that which is gathered in.
Mm.
So purifying ahara isn't just about physical food, it's about purifying the knowledge you gather through your senses, your perceptions.
Ah, okay. So it's about filtering your experiences, not letting in negativity or things that stir up attachment or aversion.
Exactly. You aim to perceive things without the taint of attachment, aversion, and delusion. This puts a huge emphasis on internal purity. And that internal purity requires other qualities. Satya, truthfulness; arjava, sincerity, straightforwardness; daya, doing good for others without expecting anything back; and ahimsa, non-injury.
Non-injury in thought, word, and deed. That's a high standard.
It is. And the ultimate test for ahimsa, the sources say, is the complete absence of jealousy. If you're truly non-injuring, you can't feel jealousy.
Wow. Okay. That really sets the bar. You also mentioned perseverance and strength in avasada. This doesn't sound like a path for the faint of heart.
Not at all. The Upanishads state clearly, this Atman is not to be reached by the weak. You need strength, both physical and mental, and, crucially, a cheerful mind. The sources insist only a cheerful mind is strong enough to cut through all the difficulties. It's a path for giant wills, as Vivekananda puts it.
That need for strength and purity really points towards the importance of a teacher, doesn't it? The guru. We're told spiritual life isn't really awakened just by books. The spark has to come from another soul.
That's exactly right. You can read all the books, become incredibly knowledgeable intellectually, but that doesn't automatically translate to spiritual growth. The guru is like a conduit, transmitting that spiritual impulse. Think of lighting one candle from another that's already burning. But for that to happen, the guru has to be well qualified, very qualified.
What are those qualifications? What makes a true guru?
Three main things stand out in the texts. First, the guru must know the spirit of the scriptures, not just be a master of grammar or words. Vivekananda uses a great analogy. Don't get lost counting the leaves and branches on the mango tree. Just eat the fruit. Get the essence.
Makes sense. Don't get bogged down in debates. What's the second?
Second, the guru must be sinless, perfectly pure in heart and soul. Any impurity acts like static, blocking the transmission of that spiritual light.
And the third is about why they're teaching, their motivation.
Yes, and it's absolutely critical. The guru's motive must be pure, selfless love for humanity. No seeking money, no craving fame, no desire for power. Any selfish motive, the texts say, will immediately destroy this conveying medium. To transmit divine love, the guru has to embody it.
And what about the student, the shisha? What's required on their end besides the purity and strength we talked about?
A real burning thirst for knowledge and perseverance. Incredible perseverance. The sources don't sugarcoat it. They say the struggle might last for hundreds of lifetimes. You have to be ready for a long haul, patiently working against your lower nature, knowing that real progress often comes only when you feel like you've tried everything else.
Okay. So as the devotee progresses from this preparatory stage towards the supreme bhakti, what's the key element that helps them make that leap?
The greatest purifier, the thing that really fuels the ascent to parabhakti, is renunciation.
Ah, renunciation. That word often sounds harsh, like forcing yourself to give things up, suffering. Is it different for the bhakta? You mentioned earlier it might be easier.
It's fundamentally different. The bhakta's renunciation is described as easy, smooth, flowing. It's not about violent suppression at all. It's a natural detachment vairagya that happens automatically because of an increasing attachment anuraga to God.
Okay, explain that. How does getting more attached lead to detachment?
Think of it like lights. Imagine you're in a room with lots of dim little lamps. Those are your attachments to worldly things, senses, ego, whatever. Now imagine someone brings in a huge, brilliant spotlight that's the growing love for God.
Right?
As that divine spotlight gets brighter and brighter, the little lamps just naturally seem dimmer. Their light fades in comparison. Eventually, they just vanish from your attention. You don't forcefully put them out. You're just captivated by the brighter light.
So you don't suppress desires, you just redirect them all towards God, the ultimate desire.
Exactly. You channel all that energy towards the highest love.
And this process involves different stages, different forms of love manifestation, moving towards greater intimacy.
Yes, it's often described as a progression. It might start with Shanta, a peaceful, calm, reverent love. Then it can move to Dasya, seeing yourself as the servant of God, devoted and obedient. Then Sakya, relating to God as a dear friend, an equal companion. Then even Vatsalya, loving God as a parent loves a child. This one is interesting because it removes all awe and fear, allowing for just pure, tender love.
So each stage gets closer, more personal.
Right, and all this prepares the ground for the highest, most intense form, Madhura, the sweet love. Here, the relationship is modeled on the most powerful human love. That between lovers, with God as the ultimate beloved, sometimes even conceptualized as the husband.
Using romantic love as the model, that's intense.
It is. It's about taking that powerful human emotion and directing it entirely, exclusively towards the divine. This complete channeling is called ekayana. Every single emotion, every passion you have, even negative ones like anger or jealousy, gets redirected towards him. Because he's seen as the absolute peak of beauty, sublimity, everything desirable, all your energy flows towards that one point.
And when someone reaches that state of supreme love, what happens? What's the result?
The result is a state called apradakudya, complete self-surrender and universal acceptance. You stop fighting anything.
How does that work?
Because you see the samashti, the universal God in everything. And if you love the whole, you naturally love every part, the vyashti. You literally see God or Hari in every single being.
Sure.
This leads to unswerving love towards all beings. Nothing feels separate from the beloved anymore.
So even difficult experiences, pain, suffering.
Yes, because everything comes from the universe, which is the beloved. The bhakta welcomes it all. Pain, misery, hardship, even death. It's all seen as coming from the source of their love. They transcend the duality of pleasure and pain. It leads to that peace that passeth all understanding.
Incredible. So wrapping this up, the sources give us a kind of summary, a triangle of love.
Exactly. 3 essential qualities that must be present for love to be true. Supreme Bhakti.
Okay, what's the first one?
First, love knows no bargaining. Real love isn't transactional. You don't love God to get stuff, not wealth, not heaven, not even liberation. You love him just because he is love. It's for love's own sake, period.
No quid pro quo. Got it.
Second, love knows no fear. They are complete opposites. If there's even a tiny bit of fear of punishment, fear of what people think, fear of loss, then it's not pure, fearless love. True love casts out all fear.
Makes sense. Fear and love can't coexist. And the third angle.
Third, love knows no rival. The object of your love, God, Ishwara, must be your absolute singular highest ideal. The ultimate synthesis of everything beautiful, powerful, and sublime you can conceive. Nothing else can sit on that throne in your heart. He must be the one.
Wow. No bargaining, no fear, no rival.
When a devotee embodies these 3, they reach a point where they don't need external proofs or arguments about God's existence. They experience him directly as love. As the source puts it beautifully, the God of love is his own proof.
And this leads to that final, almost paradoxical prayer or aspiration of the ultimate bhakta, right? The one that goes beyond even wanting freedom.
Yes, it perfectly captures the culmination of this path. Having gone beyond all worldly desires, even the desire for moksha, liberation, the bhakta's cry becomes something like, Lord, I don't want wealth or friends or beauty or knowledge or even freedom. Just let me be born again and again, life after life, but let me always love you. May you always be my love. And it's recurving. The ultimate point isn't escaping the world, but being eternally consumed by that love. The final realization is that the separation dissolves. Love, the lover, and the beloved become completely one. That's the heart of Bhakti Yoga.